Hello and welcome. My name is Baba Yoba. Very excited I am to be with you today. And today we will be talking about a certain topic that is very, very pertinent to all of us. We're talking about depression and mental health in African spirituality. Depression and mental health in African spirituality. Let me put it this way, that how do we approach, treat, manage depression and mental health using African spirituality? Before we go on, let's reckon with those who are saying hello to us. Aboye Boshishe. Aboye Boshishe Ekabo. You're welcome, everybody, from all over the world. Africans living in Africa, Africans living in diaspora, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, Haiti, folks in China, all the folks who are black skin, and even if you are white skin but of black heart, we welcome you. All right. So you know, as we do it on this platform, keep your questions to yourself until when we begin to answer them. Until we begin to answer questions. Before we now move on, let us pour veneration and give kudos to our ancestors. Ìbà lára ìbà jèrò ìbà ọ̀rọ̀gùn lè là, ìbà àwọn tí wọ́n kọ́ jáwé ká tó jáwé, ìbà àwọn tí wọ́n kọ́ wẹ̀gbò ká tó wẹ̀gbò. Ìbà ilẹ̀ ìbà òkè, ìbà gegele, ìbà agbede méjì ayé àti ìkúùkù tí ń bẹ lójú ọ̀run. Ìbà àwọn ìyá ọ̀pákẹ́ àlàkẹ́ arúgbó aṣọ mábàlẹ̀. Ìbà Ṣàngó lójú iná ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ obì, abàkàtà yẹ́rìyẹ́rì iná lójú iná lẹ́nu. Olúkòso àyàrá iná nù. Ìbà Ọ̀ṣun ṣẹ̀ǹgẹ̀ṣẹ́ olóòyè ayùn awẹ́mẹ́wẹ̀dẹ̀. Ìbà Ògún lákàáyé ọ̀ṣẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ olómi lé fẹ̀jẹ̀wẹ̀ òláṣọ lé fi mọ̀kímọ̀ gbóra bí aṣọ. Ìbà Ọbàtálá Ọbàtáàsà, ọba takuntakun òde ìrànjẹ, ọ̀mọ̀mọ̀ tí mọrí ẹ̀dá àṣebà. Ìbà Ọ̀rúnmìlà bàbá Àgbọnnìrègún. Ìbà àwọn ìṣíwájú. Àṣebà Fẹlá Aníkúlápó Kútì. Àṣebà Awólọ́wọ̀. Àṣebà Mádẹ́ńlá Nelson. Àṣebà gbogbo àwọn bíi Thomas Sankara. Those are our ancestors. We pour veneration and give kudos to them. And we ask that their energy stays with us, empower us with the right kind of wisdom and courage to pull through in this life. And we ask also that our Ori will not antagonize us. Kori wa ti wa lẹ́yìn kó mọ́ ti wa lójú. Kó gbè wá níjà kó mọ́ pè wá níjà. We pour veneration and give credit to the energies of the mothers of the night. Kíbà wa ó ṣẹ. Káwa ó má sọ̀rọ̀ sọ bó lónìí. Ìbà, ìbà, ìbà ọba Olúayé. Ìbà, kíbà wa ó ṣẹ. Thank you very much. That's simply how to pour veneration to your ancestors. And so many people think ancestors must be folks they cannot easily relate to. Now, we have several beautiful ancestors who have done fantastic things, who has become a legend amongst us today. You can see me mentioning Fela Aníkúlápó Kútì. It's a great ancestor. We have other ancestors in this part of the world. Adébáyọ̀ Fálétí, Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Akínwùmí Ìṣọ̀lá. Ancestors like Martin Luther King Jr., ancestors like Karl Marx, they have gone ahead of us to do great things. It is now left to us to now pick up their energy and do wonderful things with it. So when you pour veneration to the ancestors, remember that you not only pour veneration to the ancestors you can't easily relate to, but you also pour to those ones that you also witness or have a immediate memory of what he did. You and I one day will become an ancestors. And those who are coming after us will be able to pick our name and pour venerations to us. If you have water while I was doing the veneration, you can just pour libation and drink the water. So today we go on to talk about depression and mental health issues, how we approach them in African spirituality. It's a class today. It is for your own benefit to not get distracted in the comment section. It is going to do a lot of good if you pick your pen and paper and begin to note things. Today, if you watch us till the end, I'll release some ingredients into your hands. Some roots, some plants, some things you can conjure together to cater for your mental health, and especially starting from the place of depression, if it is spiritually induced. I realized that during one of our shrine sessions in Telegram, by the way, we changed the Telegram name from Baba Yoruba so it doesn't look like it is about me to African Spirituality Hub. African Spirituality Hub. You can search African Spirituality Hub on Telegram and it will take you to our shrine. I was talking to Black people there, Africans there. It seems most people living in diaspora, especially of African descent, struggle with one thing that is common amongst them, and that is depression from demography. The same people who live in a nation that has been rated to be the happiest nation in the world, or people who are the happiest in the world, who can withstand anything, go into a certain region and they become depressed. So let's begin to tackle it. The region where you stay is not in line with your divine being and also your health. The configuration of that system there does not work with you. But can we blame you for running away? No. We can't blame you because the government of this nation, of this continent, have made it so impossible for you to be treated like human. And when you now look at it very well, you realize that those who are milking you dry, using the instrument of the leaders you have chosen to power, are still the same people you are running to in the Western world. Please listen to me. If they block my YouTube, I don't care. I will speak this truth. Suddenly, you realize that Nigeria, for example, is a branch office, a cow that can be milked for the United Kingdom. Suddenly, you realize that places like Cameroon, French-speaking countries, still are milked dry by either Spain or France. Nations like Zimbabwe, some certain part of Africa where they have the largest deposit of copper, they live below the threshold of poverty. So while you run away from your continent because your leaders are not making it work, please look at it that you are running into the arms of your slave master, who intentionally created poverty here. Weaponize it so that you can find your way to them. And then when you even find your way to them, their countries, their geographical location does not fit an average African child. You are the sons of the sun. S-O-N-S of S-U-N, the sons of the sun. You see, it is not just ordinary that the sun blasts at its highest degree here in Africa. The sun is the giver of life. So we call the sun the Most High, not because it is just like that, but because we are the descendants of the sun. And as the sun bright blazed and buffer, so bright, so is our continent. So is our ruggedity, so is our temperament, so is our tenacity to withstand hardship and overcome. But a lot of us have been carted away to a cold region. Affect your polowa, but we don't know. So you see an average African child who would naturally withstand any pressure, any form of insult, any form of, struggle here in Africa and still be happy. Going through something like a percentage of it, they're in diaspora and suddenly become depressed. Now, the racism is there for you. I'm not saying depression is not in Africa. I'm trying to touch light. The racism is there for you to battle with. The unemployment is there for you to battle with. The systematic downtrodden of your human rights is there to battle with. The weather is not for you. And then now go to the big farmers and how they systematically induce you with depression using what they call medical pills. So some of you have been misdiagnosed or intentionally diagnosed for what you don't suffer for. And then they ask you to come and take the drug that will make you suffer for it. So you see children who are intentionally being diagnosed to have autism, who are not autistic, but the drug you are giving to them is what is now making them become autistic. Systematic downtrodden and systematic suppression of people, the big farmers. You create so much drug to retain the market share, take your money, and all this drug cause what we call chemical imbalance in your brain that leads to what you call depression. Some of you are mad, you don't know. So you see folks who live in diaspora behave erratically, and they call it civilization. So you in Africa be like, what is wrong with this one? Kilo, worry. I will not be mentioning them because I deal with people in diaspora a lot. But I deal with a lot of strange characters who are supposed to be civilized, know how to behave. But then when they begin to now deal with you, blah, mental problem, but they don't know that they have mental problem. Certainly, they called me the other day. She was talking to me. Hey, Baba, very fast. Now, the first time she spoke to me, she spoke to me that somebody who once raped her is not coming to her life, not knowing that she already saw his face the day he came to rape her. The story went does and all that. It was really not cognitive. There's a lot of dissonance in what the person was saying. So I don't have time for that. So I called the phone. After like a month, the same person called back because I have a very retentive memory. For I hear your voice once, even though I don't know your name, I will pick up that it is you. She called me the other time, second time, and said, okay, the other time the network was blah, 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 blah. You started saying a lot of things. And I said, are you not the lady who called me saying that your rapist, you found your rapist and you want to enjoy him and all that? I said, no, nothing like that. It was my stepfather. It was my stepfather, this and that. Can you help me kill my stepfather? I know. Kill your, you don't quote, you are not even sugarcoating it. Am I a killer now? And I started hearing, I allowed her to talk for a while, and something is wrong with this person. Anyway, to cut the long story short, when I said I don't kill people for people, this is a person who claimed to be a priestess on YouTube, who have helped people to kill others, but suddenly could not kill her own stepfather and all. I said, how you kill them before kill them again? Strange characters. And then you realize that something is wrong with that person. That is not a spiritual attack. That is a geographical attack. Location to wa o ti yi ori e. I had a friend whose child was diagnosed to be autistic, wasn't talking. That's when we talk about mental health issue, people begin to say, okay, depression, mental, there are different types of mental health issues. So he called me. And I said, your child is not talking? No problem. Bring the child to Africa. Let him stay amongst his friends. Let him know what real life is. So they brought the child to Africa. And after a month, sent the child to school. And the child started talking. I don't know how they noticed the child is away there in the UK. Started pressuring the father to bring the child back. And I said, oh boy, take the child back. The moment the child went back, I said, when they give you prescriptions, because the child already started talking without prescriptions, So the moment the child get back, whenever they give you prescription or medical pills and all, don't use it for the child. Create a placebo, just a chalk, give to the child. And they kept on doing that. And they realized that the child is improving in school. Improving and all that. He's talking now. Wow. And they needed to find out why he's talking. So they took him for medical checkup and realized that the traces of those drugs are not in the child's bloodstream. And they summoned the father. How are you not giving the child a drug? And the guy said, I don't want to give their drug. So I said, you know, this and blah, blah, blah. Do you know when they pressured this guy to give the child a drug and they started giving the child again the drug, the child became autistic again and stopped talking. And he clearly stated that some of your black children are intentionally picked out as a specimen, a lab rat, diagnosed of what they are not suffering. And then you now voluntarily take them for drugs of the things they will suffer. Just like they introduced depression to you Africans. Your ancestors don't deal with this. If a person is attacked, having mental problem, if the universe is calling on to you, if the deep is calling, we know not all this free of charge depression that you people pick up these days. Any little thing, depression. Everything, depression. Little challenges of life, depression. They just get depressed. The spirit is broken. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm talking as a spiritualist. I'm talking from the angle of an African spiritualist. And this is my own area of expertise. And I will not deal with you the way medical people deal with you. Now, you realize that the introduction of those unnecessary chemicals in your brain is messing you up. And it is a multi-billion-dollar industry for them. Because you keep going back for antidepressants. And the more antidepressants you keep going back for, the more depressed you are. And you realize that you get hooked on the drug, you become an addict. And forever, you pay these white folks for what they are introducing to you. So I'm handling this topic in different formats and different ways. Now let's go on. Depression has been diagnosed to be as a result of chemical imbalance in the brain. What causes the chemical imbalance? In this part of the world where we deal with those who are depressed, we deal with them in two ways. We try to diagnose using the instrument of Ifa divination system. Is the universe calling on to this person? Because some of you do not even know that what you call depression is the greatest gift you can ever get from the universe. Some of you don't know that what you call depression could be the greatest form of gift you will ever get from the universe. And in your moment of depression, nobody hears what you hear. Because it is a personal conversation in a new level of deeper realm between you and your Ori or the universe. It is now left for us to ask you, what will you use your own depression to do? If the deep begin to call unto you as a deep, to reveal the things of the world to you, so you can be useful to others, what would you use your depression to do? So we should count it all joy sometimes when we fall into depression, because in the state of depression, you don't hear what I hear. You don't see what I see. You look at the world in a different manner. That is your moment of recharge. Your moment of recharge. You know what happens when you talk too much, when you play too much, when you are available too much, when you are everywhere too much? The universe calls you back. And when you feel this level of emptiness, you see that the state of emptiness, there is a refilling process taking place. That moment of calling away, the moment of isolation, the moment of you and you alone, the moment of you and the universe, the moment of you renewing your strength, having the different level of understanding of what the world is, the moment of you switching on the light to look at the movie in the cinema clearly. Every movie is produced under this big light, but you can't watch them perfectly under the big light. When you go to the cinema, you switch off the light. When the universe switch off your light, it is calling you to concentrate and focus. And the moment you are watching the movie and the light is off, you'll see the expertise of the scriptwriter. You'll see all the things that the continuity man is doing. You'll see the expertise of the director. You see the kind of lens they are using to camera to capture it. You see the way the nature is. You'll be able to analyze, even though you are not there. The universe call you into the deep, switch off every light, and let you focus, sometimes to yourself or sometimes to the world at large. Having a better understanding of how the world should run. Sometimes don't allow the universe to call you and induce the depression on you. Depress yourself sometimes. You know what I mean? Take a moment out. Not every time. Parapupu, you are everywhere. You are talking every time. You are watching everything. You listen to every music. You go to every party. You eat every food. You wear every coat. You jump on every trend. Sometimes depress yourself. Switch off your light and go apart to renew yourself. I don't deal with depression like the medical folks deal with it. I'm teaching you now how to manage the voices inside of you. I bet most of you have never thought of depression as a gift before. And do you know that there's no one who can help a depressed person but a depressed person himself or herself? If a person have chosen to switch off their light or have allowed the universe to switch off their light, it is not your duty to switch it on. It is their duty to say, I have had enough. Now I'm going to pour myself out. That's how you see people who are useful, who are always with content, who always make sense. You won't find them in a crowd. You don't see them in the party you go to. They don't wear the clothes you wear. They don't live the life you live. They don't have sex just anyhow. They live a very venerable life. A life of so much reverence. It is not holiness. This is not piousness. This is not trying to look like a monk or a monastery kind of person. This is about taking charge of your art. Because out of the art, everything else gets their life. Your questions later, please. So the universe have a way when you are too loud. The universe have a way when you focus on the wrong thing for too much, for too long. The universe have its own way. When you are too reluctant, it calls you into the deep. And when you are called into that deep, the question you should ask yourself is that, what am I going to do with my depression? And the state of depression, I've seen authors who produce the best-selling books. In the state of depression, I've seen fashion designers who produce the best line of clothes. In the state of that depression, I've seen people who have invented awesome things that they still get credit for till today. What will you use your depression for? You might think it's easy for me to say it. I've been there. And I'm always there. So every single time, I'm always there. Your state of depression is the universe calling you to become the God over your life. The irresponsibility of mankind wanting to run away from that. What it takes to be God over their life is what makes them up for suicide. Small depression, you are looking for rope. Small depression, you are looking for rat killer. Small depression, you say this word is not your own, you are just passing by. What were you waiting for before? Small depression, you are looking for how to kill yourself, how to terminate yourself. No, depression is not a terminal disease. Depression is not supposed to lead you into the extent of your life. Depression is supposed to recharge you back to life. Because if you try to run away from life, you are coming back to life. And whatever you sow in this episode, you will reap in the next episode. Some of you are so attached to the crowd that you cannot take yourself out by yourself. Some of you are so lost in the crowd that you don't know how to buy the best thing for yourself except someone buy it for you. Some of you are so filled with low self-esteem that when you do something spectacular, you don't know how to reward yourself. You always want somebody to give you accolade. Why do you think it's my business to give you kudos for what you have done that you are convinced that is true? Send your name to those who do plaque. Let them design the best award plaque for you. Award yourself, put it to your shelf where you can see it all the time. Pop the champagne. Go out, take yourself out. Rent a yacht, be on the sea. Enjoy life. You have done what you need to do to deserve it. So because somebody is not telling you are beautiful, you think it's the best excuse for you to now switch into depression and all that. If you don't know you are beautiful, how am I supposed to know you are beautiful? If you don't know you are awesome, how am I supposed to know that you are awesome? Because in this world, you must know that you are energy and you buffer information all of the time. The information you have not buffer into the atmosphere, I can't pick it up. If the information you are buffering out is that you are ugly, when I see you, even though you are pretty, I'm going to say you are ugly. I'm going to treat you like an ugly thing because that is the information you are passing across. The energy, that's what I'm picking. If you don't know that you are awesome or spectacular or tremendous or meticulous or something, how am I supposed to know? Do you think I live this life because of you? Everybody for themselves. So little thing because they don't give you the kudos you deserve, you now say, go and give yourself the kudos. Kudos is free. Give yourself some. Nobody will arrest you for kudos. It's like the case of a lizard that smashed itself down from a 4-story building and began to do like this. They asked lizard, why are you doing like this? Said, if you guys don't give me kudos, I'll give myself kudos. It's not easy to fall from 4-story building and be alive. Be like a lizard. When you do a little thing that is accolade, if nobody give it to you, please grab it and give it to yourself. Enough of low self-esteem struggle. So sometimes when you rely on people too much for what you are supposed to give to yourself, the universe calls you into the deep to teach you. Then you begin to see that nobody really give a damn about you. Nobody really give a hoot about your life. And when the universe begins to point you to the fact that nobody give a damn a hoot about your life, what is it telling you? The universe is telling you that now it's time to care for yourself. Now it's time to place you first. Now it's time to pursue your dream. Now it's time for you to become unapologetic, irrespective of the kind. It doesn't matter how long you've been in that marriage. If it's not leading you to the place you want it to lead you to, you can make a U-turn at any time. Give yourself a kudos, you have tried. I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm talking to you about how the universe works. If you sign up for a job and your employer is not treating you well, give yourself the kudos of starting your own business. Who told you cannot outrun him in the business? Who told you can't be the next biggest CEO in the world? Whenever you go to work and say this work is killing me and you are feeling sad and you don't think the next thing is to resign from that work and create the kind of work that meets your personality, that makes your life happy, that doesn't look like a work, even though you are not getting paid yet, you don't feel sad about it. It's not me you are doing, it's you are doing yourself. You are doing yourself. So the other time you are now telling me you want to commit suicide. What is the use of your life if you cannot even like yourself first? So the universe will often call you, calm down, check it, love yourself, do this, do that. Some of you now see that it's not a small matter to become a CEO. In order to run away from becoming a CEO because you don't think you have what it takes to start it from the scratch, you opt for suicide. You chicken out. What is your problem? What is wrong with you? What exactly is wrong with you? Is it not this life? So the universe will often call you, especially if you have a spectacular and awesome duty to perform in this dispensation or in this life. Calling you unto yourself. That is the true meaning of deep, calling unto deep. The moment of the deep calling to the deep is what you call depression. That beautiful moment of the deep calling onto the deep is what you call depression. Fortunately, most of you don't know what it means to be deep. You think when somebody put a rhyme together and they look like each other, that deep is deep or something. No, that's not deep. Deep can only be found inside you. And you don't, I say it again, you don't know how deep you are until you begin to go deeper in yourself. So in this way of life, we call depression a deep expression of your unknown strength. Deep expression. Depression. Deep expression of your unknown strength, unknown feet, unknown energy, unknown grace, a deep expression. So when the universe sees that you are sleeping on it, you are lying so low on it, you are dragging your feet on it, you are more than what you are, it calls you into the deep so that you can express a deeper part of you. And whoever says they don't like how boastful you are, whoever says they don't like how happy you are, whoever says they don't like how deep you are, whoever says that when you are at the stage of deep expression and you are manifesting yourself, they don't like it, please tell them that there's such a bridge in Nigeria called Thorn Bridge. Nobody will stop them if they park their car and jump into the Atlantic Ocean under it. Nobody is going to stop you. But we live in a life where people's opinion determines people's self-worth. We live in a world where the number of comments you have on social media, the number of likes you have on social media is simply the proportion of importance you think you are to yourself. So let me tell you something. The fact that they don't like your post, they don't comment on it, does not mean it's not affecting their life. Some of them are following you underneath. You don't know how many lives you are touching. That's the problem you have. You don't know how many lives you yourself are saving. But because they are not coming outrightly to say, yeah, you are saving my life, you think you are worth nothing. Keep posting that post. If it is real, if it is genuine. The problem of most people is that you do things for accolade. You do things because somebody will now say, okay, kudos. No, do things because that is what satisfies you. Do it because that is what satisfies you. And that's why we provide a moment of being very close to nature. See, the farther you are from nature, the more the possibility of you running mad. The farther you are from nature, the more the possibility of you running mad, because you will keep chasing things that is not needful. You will keep talking things that is not sensible. You will keep looking for things that is not lost. So in this way of life, when somebody begins to behave like that, we begin to look at their priority in life. and especially their locality. You can't consider the gauge of happiness of someone who lives in a big city in Nigeria like Lagos to someone who is living in the suburb village of Ijebu. You can't compare. Even if you have determined that today you will not be sad, you will see a younger person who is driving a better car than you. And he or she is ready to lambast your life. And then you begin to ask yourself questions. Not every life is meant to be in the city. Surround yourself with nature. Be amongst nature. The sound of water alone is soothing and can regulate your temperament and your emotion. The chirping of the bird alone, when you wake up to it, nobody needs to tell you that life is beautiful. All those elements of nature, like the tree that is oozing, the breeze that is fresh, the river that is flowing, they pass messages across to you in a way that I cannot, and they affect your emotion directly. The possibility of you being depressed around nature or in nature is very minimal compared to those of you who live in highbrow places in city, skyscraper, driving big machines. So one of the ways we treat depression in African spirituality is to return the animal back to the jungle. Is to make them go back and connect back to their source, which is nature. We return you back to nature. Let the wild beasts go back to the jungle. See, what you call civilization of today is chaos. The world is filled with enough chaos that you cannot even survive it. That is, if you have a very strong mind. Chaos everywhere. Chaos everywhere. No trees are allowed to breathe. Everywhere is turned to real estate. The rivers are being blocked. The oceans are being sand-filled. The air is being blocked. Skyscraper everywhere. The atmosphere is polluted. Smoking everywhere. Carbon from every car. You call it civilization, but this is chaos. So your possibility or probability of being depressed is great. Because that's not where nature have you or want to have you. That's not where the universe want to have you. It want to call you back into the deep. Let the wild beasts go back to the jungle. Go back to nature. Do this for yourself every month. Or maybe once every week. To remove the energy of that madness, that mental insanity from you. Simply go to the riverside. Do nothing but stare at it. Just stare at it. See, the staring at water is capable of extracting every form of bad energy from you. Begin to extract bad. You would say nothing. You would do nothing. No gesticulation. Just sit very far and watch the water as it flows. It is capable of extracting every form of madness from you. So one thing I love about water is that water can give you healing and it can also extract nonsense from you. And if you mess with water, it can also mess you up. Do you have the time for that? You wake up early morning, you come back late night. They are building a new house by your side. You don't even know it. Because Monday to Sunday, you strangle yourself with tie. You go to work endlessly. Look at life. How wouldn't you be depressed as a person? So nature tries to join you back to itself. The universe tries to send you back to your origin. That moment you call the moment of depression. That's two. First one is artificially induced depression through medication that is supposed to be helping you, but is causing chemical imbalance in your head. The second one is when the universe wants to help you express the deeper part of you, calling you onto itself. When the deep want to call into the deep, which is a gift. The third one is this, where we will say it is very possible. On this platform, we have taught extensively about the energy of equity and how it can also be manipulated against you. The energy of equity, if you are a good student of this platform, I would like you to remind me, what is the name of the energy of equity? I'll be watching out on the comment section, so I won't say it for the benefit of those who are just joining us. What is the energy of equity? We have thought about it extensively. We have spoken about the energy of equity, the energy of justice, and several other energies. What is the energy of equity? Thank you very much. We are good students here. Thank you. Thank you. Those who are just joining us, they'll be wondering, why are they typing the issue? Why is everybody typing the issue? Issue la roye. Onile kangu kangun. Obelekun sunkun keru obelekun elekun sunkun la roye nseje. Issue is the energy of equity. And we are going deeper. Remember, when I talked about the energy of equity, I also mentioned that the energy of equity is what the Christians or the Muslim, the religion of the invaders, plagiarize to be Holy Spirit, because that witness within you, that voice you call the still small voice, that convict you when you do evil, that direct you to do good, is Eshu, Lanroye. And I said, Lanroye means Alaroye. Alaroye could be termed as either a mediator, advocate, or someone who is constantly talking to you. So if there's anything like the concept of comforter, which they gave to their Holy Spirit, on the foundation of lie. So Eshu speaks all the time. The energy of equity. It convicts when you do evil. It directs to do good. So the two sides of it, which Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther sold us out to call Satan and Christianity or whatever. Now I also told you, you'll see it when they do their Christian movie, whatever it is. They'll use one man for two things. One man will be here, the same man will be here. The one at your left will be wearing black. The one at your right will be wearing white. The one at your left will be telling you what is negative. The one at your left will tell you what is positive. We thank them because they know that it is one and the same person. And this person is a person of Eshu. Eshu la luo girioko. That convict you when you do what is evil. And everybody have Eshu in them. And also direct you to do what is good. So you want to go out in the morning and something is telling you, don't wear this clothes or don't board that plane. And at the end of the day, the plane crashed. It is not Holy Spirit. If there's Holy Spirit at all, we are talking about Eshu. So this voice that you hear within you can also be manipulated against you. Are you with me? It can also be manipulated against you, even though it is working for you. One more penny assassin. Nǹkan kan ṣoṣo tátà sí ò lè mú ni bèbí. One year asasi oran baby, oju pipon oran cigar, which means remoting does not control a baby doll. And having a very red eye cannot lead a cigarette. But if it's a human, anything at all, a issue can be instigated against you, even though it is a voice that should direct you. So for every past positive aspect of it, there is also negative aspect. That's what we call duality of nature. And those who know how to do it, they know how to do it well. Now listen, this is the part where you calm down and listen. Naturally here, when you want to exert the energy of equity, which is issue, for what is good, you give it palm oil. Palm oil. Remember, we are not talking about a person. We are talking about energy. When you want to now instigate the same energy against the person, Awafuladi, what is the English of Adi? What is the English word for Adi? So when you say so, the son of so, said I should give you palm oil, so you are actually telling it, do what is good. But when you say so, the son of so, said I should give you Adi, that means it's going to be working against you. So a lot of people suffer non-genetical or non-hereditary mental problem. Adi, palm kernel nut oil. Thank you. Thank you. So in this way of life, having ascertained that your depression is not from medically induced substances, and it is not the nature or universe calling you into the deep, the only place we look up to is the spiritual aspect. Is someone trying to tackle you? Is there somebody in the dark trying to stain your light? Is somebody trying to control your mind? So in African spirituality, we can cure madness. People who have mental problems. You see the way they manifest? When they are manifesting, they manifest as if they are in the world of their own. There is a voice they hear in them. It is convincing that it's the real voice, but it's not the real. The voice is overshadowing them. And they are in a new reality, not in a new world, new reality. Because the voice that should direct them to do what is good and should convict them to do what is good, not to do what is evil, has been contaminated, tampered with. And it's always start from a state of depression. When you begin to hear a voice that is strange from the activity you should do. When your energy begins to douse down. When your excitement, enthusiasm begin to get low, unexplainably. When something begins to tell you, kill yourself, jump over, go to the train side, face the train, go to the trailer. It's beautiful. Take that poison. Do this and that. That is, it should be manipulated against you. So when a person encounters African spirituality and we are able to know, okay, it has gotten to that, what we do is to silence that voice. Because it's like a case of staphylococcus. Everybody has staphylococcus, but when it begins to react in a different way, we have to use antibiotics to calm its energy down. Such a way we use to also regulate this strange voice that you are hearing. Unfortunately, Jesus does not work against issue. Allah cannot work against issue. It is all a gimmick. And having to chain a person down, batter them, matter, is not part of African spirituality. So it is possible that a person could be controlled from home to abroad, from abroad to home. Somebody will just pick up their bag and say, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. They are calling me at home. Our ancestors can use it to call their children home. Maybe a certain man who is the head of the community is about to die. A son has sojourned away and he needed him to replace him. They just call the guy home. All he will be hearing and all his desire will be about, I'm going home. Nothing you can tell him, he will get home. A lot of people have got into Murtala Mohammed Airport without even saying goodbye from UK. And it is when they get home, they realize, what am I doing here? You will be doubting that this thing is not real, that Jesus' power is superpower. Oh, then don't will lie. Fún mi lórúkọ màmá ẹ̀ àtorúkọ ẹ̀ kí n sáré dánwò wàá bá mi lé nísinsìnyí. Are you with me? That no weapon fashioned against me can prosper. Are you drinking water where you are? The water you are drinking, as a matter of fact, is a weapon. I can weaponize the water in your body. No weapon. Every weapon fashioned against me cannot prosper. Everything neutralize it. Are you drinking water where you are? See, if you are drinking the water, I can weaponize the water. You help me to drink the water, I will do the rest of the job. In the name of Jesus, I cover myself with the blood of Jesus. My blood here. You will be blood. But does it pay? It doesn't pay. So how people could do that? You have an unplanned desire that makes you gravitate towards where you don't want to, because they have tampered with the voice within you, and all you can hear is come on, 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 come on. And if you don't get up, you won't calm down. That's part of African spirituality. So the fathers in those days, instead of them to die without a replacement, they called their children from. There's no need for mobile phone. All this telephone, tele this, tele that, there's no use for that. How did Oyibo know that you can call somebody without wire? We started it here. You will just control the person. So, the son of so. If you are drinking water, if you are stepping on the ground, if the sun is shining where you are, and if you can breathe in here, I call you, blah, 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 come home today. You dem my body. Present you. Now, if such a power is existing, how much more can they tell you that so the son of so? I call you. Go and have your bath in Pacific Ocean. So they will be calling him. You shark will bite you. He will say, no, this is a swimming pool. Suddenly, Pacific Ocean be like swimming pool or his village river. He said he can swim it over. He will even go underground. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because of the evil people who could manipulate the voice within you to induce depression and mental insanity in you, using the energy of issue, which is a voice. That voice that you hear. It is not only in terms of depression or mental insanity. Sometimes they induce the voice so that you can make mistake or make the wrong choice. For example, gbólóhùn kan tí wọ́n bá sọ pé ṣìṣe ní béwúrẹ́ tí fi ń gùn yá ẹ̀. Do you know the meaning of that? Ṣìṣe ní béwúrẹ́ tí fi ń gùn yá ẹ̀. Do you know the meaning of that? Ọ̀rọ̀ ilé ayé ni o is a word of nature. Do you want to know the English interpretation of what I just said now? A simple word. They simply said, it is always the unholy desire of a goat to have intercourse with his mother. No other desire of a goat in life than to have intercourse with his mother. And they pick one or two words to it and the person begins to miss. So the voice the person hears all the time is that, begin to have crazy intercourse with people he shouldn't, incest, all those kind of things. It's not good, right? But it's a manipulation of the voice within you. No Jesus can save you from it. It is the way they caused it that we can also uncause it. Somebody saying perpetual failures can also induce depression. Yes, now. If you are doing things in the wrong way, you'll always be failing. And the more you do it in the wrong way, the more you get a failure. Then the universe calls you into the deep that come, realign, re-strategize, do something else. Thank you for this better interpretation. And sometimes it might not be because you are giving it a wrong strategy. It might be because somebody is just saying, fail, 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 fail all the time. Why would somebody want you to fail if they don't want to kill you? It is still death they are going to, but they want you to die slowly. So you realize that everything people are doing that they are successful, you are doing it, you are not successful. And sometimes it might be because you are in a wrong place, doing the wrong thing. It might be because you are even doing things that is contrary to your element in nature. So all these things could cause depression. Sometimes it is your cause, sometimes it is the universe who is calling you out of it, sometimes it is people inducing it on you. So people can manipulate that voice within you. And you begin to hear what is wrong, you begin to see what is wrong. Sometimes they even advise you, people advise you for what is good, but what is on your head is what you want to do. You will now do what is on your mind, you will now regret it. And at the end of the day, if it becomes too much of a costly mistake, you opt for suicide. Don't you think it's a mental problem? It's a mental insanity for everyone to tell you what is right to do, and you say, no, it is the wrong thing you want to do. Don't you think it's another level of mental insanity? So there is such a secret in the hand of those who understand the words of nature called incantation that they can use to mess people up. Call mental insanity, cause mental insanity, mental health issue, depression, and the rest. And then before you know it, someone who used to be very happy, useful, airy, and begin to just go low. They have been tampered with. Now, a lot of people are already asking, now, how can we now tackle this issue? How can we tackle the issue? We use both herbalism and spirituality to tackle the issue. The combination of herbalism and spirituality to tackle such issue. And I took the pain, the great pain, looking for those plants and the bark or the thorn of the trees or plants that you can use. Gather them together to the point of even looking for their botanical name, so it can be easy for all. If you mention them in Yoruba, you might not understand, you might not know. But when we have the botanical name, you can Google their botanical name, see their sample, and look for them. Look at what I wrote on the screen here. All these are actually elements of nature. You can get them from the bark of a tree. But then you have to work for it. All these are actually elements of nature. You can get them from the bark of a tree. You have to work for it. But that's not all. When we finish this video, I'll paste in the detail on the description slide of this video. When we finish this video, I'll put the detail on the description aspect of this particular video so that you can see. There are some words and incantation you will do to complete the whole thing. That is for someone who is spiritually affected, having mental issue or depression. Not for someone who is going through the natural process of the universe calling you apart. Not for someone who is going through the result of taking in poison called medical pills. This is for someone who actually have been tampered with spiritually using the energy of issue. But how would you know? You have to make divination first. After divination is when we know, okay, this person is this person is that. We can approach this way, we can approach that way. And somebody will ask, can I do it for someone? Yeah, you can do it for someone. Somebody is asking, ZEA MAYS, yeah, that's con, right? Yes, that's con. That's not all. That's not all. There are some other ingredients I'm going to be putting on the description of this particular video on YouTube. So you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it. Somebody say mental health issues are multifaceted. You might have oversimplified the matter about you, but I love simplicity. But you know, when you follow my simplicity, you will get deep understanding from my simplicity. We have talked about 3 ways. So far. Talking about the big pharma, we have mentioned the deep, calling onto the deep, the necessity for you to separate yourself often to recharge because you have discharged too much. We spoke about the attack from the spiritual aspect, manipulating yourself against. And under that, I also mentioned lack of understanding of your element as a person. You don't know what you are supposed to do. You will continue to do what you are not supposed to do. And when you do what you are not supposed to do, you will land yourself where you don't want to. And what happens when you meet failure? Depression, right? So you must come to terms that sometimes we need to also take responsibility that we are the root cause of our own depression. And then when we take the responsibility, we realize that there are some things that are beyond us that we don't know that led us to what we are now. A person who identifies with social element, who is not supposed to take up social job, who is not meant to eat social food, who is not meant to say social thing, who is not meant to have sex with social and social person, but because of lack of understanding, ignorance, they don't know, they do all those things. Landed them in failure, landed them in heartbreak, landed them in things they shouldn't. And what happened? You feel naturally bad. You feel depressed within you. What happened first? you did not know who you are. When you don't know yourself, you will land yourself in trouble. And the symptoms of trouble is depression sometimes. Symptoms of trouble. That you are in trouble is when we see you moody and all. So taking the wrong steps sometimes can be induced. Someone might want to take the right step in life and somebody is saying, no, you will not. And then it might be because somebody is saying, do the right thing. And the person is saying, I know what I'm doing. Sometimes pride can lead you into depression. Lack of humility can lead you into depression. When you make the biggest mistake of your life because you are not humble, you will still go back to the drawing board. However, when you get depressed, it is the perfect time for you to now reconcile within yourself, re-strategize, and bounce back. Bounce back. Someone is saying high sugar consumption can cause restlessness. As much as I want to understand this particular person, I don't know how to pronounce her name. As much as I want to understand this particular, I've seen a little child who eat a lot of cake before and started behaving like he or she is drunk or something. Now, see, there are some people who tell don't eat this, so eat that, don't eat blah, blah, blah. There are some people, they have told them don't eat a processed sugar. Always use honey instead of it. Always use honey instead of it. So if you don't know what to do and you do what is wrong, you will still land in the same thing. Another person is saying some families appear to be predisposed to suffering from mental illness. Try to live uncomplicated, simple, but successful life. Remember when I started this teaching, I said non-genetical, 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 non-hereditary. I mentioned it. There are people whose DNA has been tampered with. The analysis of their DNA always show that there will be something wrong when it comes to their brain. It is in their DNA. It may not have anything to do with spirituality. It may be because their DNA got tampered with at a point. And such set of people, when we want to marry in Africa, when we do the normal process and realize that they are such a person in their family, we don't marry into that family and we don't allow them to marry into another family. We allow them to die like that, wipe them off, natural wiping off, because we believe in continuity of a sane human being and people who are agile, who are healthy. Not the kind of marriage arrangement we have these days. Not the kind of people we have these days. Someone is asking, can neglected ancestral veneration cause depression? See, if your family members, that's why I'm always saying to people who want to enter into Ifa, if you cannot fulfill all the obligation, don't use Ifa as a fire brigade approach to your problem, because you know there's going to be a solution to your problem, and then later you say you dump it. That is unfaithfulness. So if at a point in time your family member gathered together and decided to say, we will be doing this as long as we live, as long as what they are doing is for betterment of your life, you don't know the history that led to that. You don't know the divination that caused them to do what they are doing. And you don't even know if you are existing because of what decision they have made, agreement. I'm not going to say give Caesar to give to Caesar what belongs to them, because I don't believe in Caesar. But I'm saying, what does it cost you to just do veneration and move on? Do what you have to do and move on. Because the words of the mouth of those people have formed the basis of your family tree. Except you now go to say, okay, I give you this today and I don't want to be part of it anymore. But we've seen several cases of people who, because they didn't do what their family tree or family deity asked, they were manipulated somehow as a repercussion to the agreement of their people. So you do the needful and move on. If it is masquerade they do in your family, even if you cannot be there because you are indisposed, send them something, just identify. If it is Oshun, just identify and move on. Some of you that do this stubbornness and this orikunkun, all this I belong to Jesus and Satan shame unto you, all of you, you know you are mad inside. You are mad inside. You know you are struggling. All this foundation and Mary Kay saliency that you are using to cover it. Some of you are even using British passport to cover the problem you are struggling with. Do what is needful and move on. Find out what they do in your family. Your family lineage must be having a duty and obligation to the society where they are found. Do your part and move on. Simple. Another person is asking, do you think modern society breeds weak characters? Or has it always been this way? There's always been weak characters. Weak characters in which way? Characters in form of maybe people now being proud of being a thief or this and that. I need to know that. But yes, our society has always had weak characters with them. Actually, the more we progress, the more we regress. Considering how many millions of years humankind has been alive, we should have been more sophisticated than this. Where it seems as if trees are improving, animals are improving, bacteria, viruses, they are mutating and improving. Only human being is retrogressing. So in those days, in a community, you can't afford to embrace many social advice because somebody will snitch on you. But in these days, even you will want everybody in your community that don't touch my child, don't report my child to me. So they leave your child and your child become a rogue. The child become a rogue. So modern society breed it, but there has always been weak characters amongst us. Even in the midst of modern society, some people still chose to have a strong character. They refuse to back down. And that's the job of the parents. Somebody is saying there are some generational traits that when one finds him or herself in, it can cause depression too. You'll be like Shogun Laye Yini. I'm very happy that every one of us talking about generational this and are not using generational curse. Because if you mention generational curse here, I'll also ask you, do you believe in generational blessings too? So why don't you focus on, why is anybody not talking about generational blessings? So I'll say, this person wanted to say generational pattern. Generational pattern could be by means of education, what you pick up from your parents, what your parents pick up from your parents, what their parents pick up from their parents, and it's passed down to generation, and by the way of teaching you either how to eat, how to speak, how to talk, how to reason. You learned that from whom? Generational pattern in terms of hereditary, gene, genetic inheritance. If it is possible for you to look like a grandfather whom you have not met, then their data is in you. But when it comes to consequences of their action, everybody carries the consequence of their action. So if you are not able to pay it, in this episode of that, you come in reincarnation and pay it. Except you are the one that reincarnated. Have you ever imagined that you could be the one who got reincarnated? You are the one who did evil in 2 generations ago, and then got reincarnated. You never can tell if you are actually suffering for what you have done before. Remember, we don't serve the sky god here, and the concept of hell and heaven doesn't exist here. We reincarnate. we reincarnate. Quenchika is saying some people get depression by association, for example, in sexual relationship. I believe I must have mentioned that when I said that if the person you are with, either marriage or relationship, is not taking you to the destination you want to be, get the hell out of it. Get yourself out of it. Don't think. Don't see. There are people who are. A woman of 65 is telling me that she's too old to fall in love, when people of 78 are still getting married. Are you writing yourself off that cheaply? Is that what you're worth? Or you say, our marriage is just few months' time. You now caught him cheating with you on several women. And you think your worth is to go into a marriage with a man who will keep messing your life up? You can rewrite your story at any time. You can rewrite your story at any time. You can rewrite it. So don't underrate yourself. Don't devalue yourself. Don't compromise. Don't sell yourself cheap. Relationships should be about synergy, push you forward, get you higher. Not to drag from you, take from you, reduce you to nothing. Unfortunately, that's where many people find themselves, situationship. They call it situationship. Because in some ladies are just in relationship because the guy is satisfying them, giving them orgasm. Some because of money. Some men are in a relationship because the lady have big IKB or have big breast. This thing will follow. All of these things it will fall. You will still go back to that depression. You will now be eating pizza laced with suffering, hot dog laced with suffering, cappuccino laced with suffering when you have enough sex. Is it possible to inadvertently activate the energy of issue against self? Yes, it is possible. Through your tongue and what you profess to yourself. That's why it is very important to watch what you say. The words of your mouth become life. They will eventually turn around to haunt you. So let goodness haunt you by creating goodness with the words of your mouth. Sometimes when you also bear false witness or you swear falsely, you know you did it, or you are not sure yet. You now say, if I did it, let this and this happen to me. The witness is there. The energy of equity does not know if you are the one or you are innocent, or you don't know, rather. As long as there is a calculation in the universe and you are guilty, you have sworn. It will happen. How about you? What do you think is the cause of some people's inability to maintain eye contact? There are so many reasons. The leading cause of not being able to maintain contact comes from self-esteem, followed by autism. Some people have undiagnosed autism. Some children have undiagnosed autism. And some have self-esteem issue. While some, naturally, is because they are shy. Maybe the thought of their mind towards you is not right. A guy might refrain from maintaining eye contact with you because he's sexually crazy about you. So that he doesn't begin to, and you know the eyes is the window of the body. So when you look into a person's eyes and you are observant, you'll be able to know that this person is thinking this and that. So people naturally don't want you to know what they are thinking, or those who lie, they don't like to look into other people's eyes. But those who are autistic and those who struggle with self-esteem, people who are very shy, they don't like to maintain eye contact. So many people have autism that is not really a medically dangerous autism. One of their symptoms is they can't hold conversation with people for so long. When you see them, when they are with you or they are sitting down, they are always moving the way I'm doing like this. Or they are shaking their leg and, shaking their leg profusely. And they just want to be alone by themselves. And Sometimes when they are inconvenient, just say, can you cut it short? Let me go. You know, those are traits and traits of all these things. Any other question so that we can wrap up? Someone is asking, can moral standards play a role in depression? Yes, now, I have said it. The energy of equity, the voice within you, it convicts you when you do what is evil. It directs you to do what is good. So what if you are a bad person who is always doing what is evil? And the voice within you keep convicting you. Imagine that the voice within you is not happy with you. How are you going to be happy with yourself? That's the issue. Imagine that all you hear within you is, this is not good, this is not right, you have done what is bad, this is not good, this is far, because of your moral conduct. You will not know it's showing in your face, it's affecting your emotion already. So, one must be very careful. I just naturally tell people to do what they would like to experience. Just do what you want to experience. You want evil, do evil. You want good, do what is good. So your moral standard can play a role in depression. It can. And some people try to hide away from it. They know something is wrong. Instead of them to talk about it, to treat it, they begin to hide away from it using maybe marijuana, substance abuse and all. They eventually die. Eventually die. Like we said, somebody broke your heart and then you switch into depression. What's your problem? Is your heart made of glass? The heart is meant to pump blood, not to be breaking anyhow. Except you have hole in the heart, I don't think your heart is broken. If anybody walk out of your life, they have told you that they don't decide to be in your future. Pick yourself up and leave. The best revenge is to be happy. You try it. Let somebody walk out of your life and you become more happier than they left. They will come and beg you back. People are attracted to happiness. Evil people want to feast on happiness. The best revenge is to be happy again. Just get yourself something, get yourself busy and happy. Whatever will give you happiness. But don't indulge in substance abuse as a way to run away from that moment. A lot of people are breaking their life up, messing up their life big time in the process of thinking that they are trying to handle depression. No. Igbo will not get you high. It will smash you down. Substance abuse will not get you out of depression. When it comes over you, when it wears off, your depression is still staying. But look at it in face and just deal with it. If heartbreak is what causes it, if loss of job, if economy is what causes it, you just go back and re-strategize and move on. If you need to talk to a counselor, talk to a counselor. Not everything is spiritual. You need to talk to a therapist, talk to a therapist, talk to a psychologist, talk to a psychiatrist. Find a way to re-strategize your life. Okay, what did you do wrong in the last job? What did you do wrong in the last marriage? What happened in the last week? Take reconciliation of your life. Take reconciliation of it and say, okay, this is what I did wrong. Instead of you to now be, oh my God, you are not eating, you are not drinking. You are just sleeping there on the bed. Stand up now. Is that how life will get better? So those who left your life, you want them to be happy because without them, you can't be happy. You should not make anybody dependent, be a dependent, be the one who dictate the length and breadth of your happiness. Be happy by yourself. Somebody is saying, when your DNA has been tampered with, is there a solution? Yes, there's a solution. There's a solution. There's a solution. Herbal medicine. Do you know there's a herbal medical solution to even all this sickle cell anemia and the rest? If it is detected on time, why care both when there's nothing impossible. But it's better to avoid it. So if the DNA data has been tampered with, yeah, take more herbal medicine. There's a way they will conjure it together. Because that one is not spiritual. It is a genetic disorder. And herbalists will handle it. Herbalists will handle it. How and what forces are responsible for this present generation suffering and dying due to what a person in the grand line did? How and what forces are responsible for this present generation suffering and dying due to what other in the... Okay, you are still talking in the line of what's the name of it? Generational curse. Generational curse is not what I deal with because I don't believe in it. All man for himself. If there are genetical issue in that family lineage that is causing them to die, we deal with the genetical issue. But saying because of what your father did, then you have to die untimely and all that. And we need to also ask what you are doing consciously to not die. What you are doing consciously to not die. So I think on that note, we have to wrap up today. And we visit the case tomorrow, some other time, as we take another topic. We thank you for coming today. Fini báyìí ládìẹ ń toko ìmọ̀ bọ̀ bá a bá lọ áòdè bá a bá dé áòtò padà lọ ni ayẹ̀wà kalẹ̀ á dára fún wa. Shall be well with us. May we not be lost on track. May we not disappear in the atmosphere like a smoke. May everything we have lost be returned back to us. And we make positive decree to the life of those who are suffering depression today, one way or the other. May your mental health be returned back to you. May your mental health be returned back to you. May your mental health be returned back to you. May your mental health be returned back to you. If it is just water you pick and speak to it, water is able to help you with all of this nonsense thing that is wrong. May your mental health be returned back to you. If that's all you can say to water and drink it with that consciousness and reverence and with so much respect, saying, may my mental health be returned back to me, you will see drastic changes. At the end of the video, you can check the description part of this YouTube channel, and then you'll be able to see the full detail of all the necessary plants you can gather together and then to be able to use. One of the things you also be able to gather together is, they call it Inyangi. Inyangi. Inyangi is Okuta Eshu. Okuta Eshu, the stone of Eshu. What is Okuta Eshu? Ako Okuta. A male or concrete stone is what we call Ako Okuta. What you will do to it, how you will do it, I also pasted there. The Odu Ifa you'll be using it for, or be using for it, I also pasted there. However, the incantation and the words of nature that you might need to use, maybe you have to send me a mail. You might have to send a mail or join the Telegram group, African Spirituality Hub. African Spirituality Hub to get the rest. And I'll do the explanation on a voice note in that group, African Spirituality Group on Telegram. African Spirituality Hub, rather, on Telegram. Thank you very much for joining. And see you some other time. If you need more explanation, more detail and all, you can easily just go to babayoba.org. Send me a mail of inquiry, and I'll be able to answer you regarding this topic. Remember, this is my disclaimer. I have not claimed to be a doctor when it comes to depression, but I treat depression in my own way and how best I understand it, especially when it is spiritually induced, using the energy of equity within you, that voice within you. Thank you very much, and take care of yourself now. Bye.